Hey everyone, Combo here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video, and today I am going to talk about who I believe to be the top 10 nature 3-star heroes in the game right now. Over the last few weeks, I've done my top 10 dark, top 10 holy, and top 10 ice heroes for the rare categories. If you haven't checked out those videos, definitely do so. I will pin a comment with a link to each of those videos down below. Today's nature heroes are going to feature a lot of event heroes and then also a lot of raid tournament heroes as well. Real quick before we get started though, if you do enjoy this video or find it helpful, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and turn that notification bell on so you can be alerted of when I drop new content. And if you really love my videos, consider becoming a member and supporting the channel by clicking the join button next to where it says subscribe. You can get some information on the perks of becoming a member, including early access to videos like this, some cool avatars, one-on-one hero advice from me on the Line app, and some other cool perks as well. And I say this in every one of my ranking videos, just because somebody is not on this top 10 ranking list does not mean that they are not worth leveling up. These are just who I believe to be the most useful 3-star nature rare heroes in the game right now. And to start off my list, I am actually going to go over an honorable mention, and that is going to be Costume Brienne. This is not the Toon version. This is her first costume, I believe. This is her cleric class. She has average mana speed, and she makes it so that all enemies get minus 41% defense and a further minus 4% decrease every time they are hit over 4 turns, down to a maximum of minus 65% defense. So she's a 3-star hero who is very good for Titans. She is part of the classic family, of course, average mana speed, cleric class. Special armor is her ether power, and where she would be useful is in Titans and in raid tournaments. And specifically for Titans, because of that defense down that gets down to minus 65%, she's a cheap, easy to level up hero if you don't have a good nature hero that gives regular defense down. Her Toon and her glass versions are what I would recommend for raid tournaments though, because that's going to do the reverse of what this version does. It makes it so that you get increased attack each time you get hit. I think it starts out at like 40 or 45% attack. And then with the Toon version, if you've got nature heroes on the side of her, then it's going to make it so that it's undispellable, lasts a couple turns longer. The glass version is also going to reflect ailments back for nature heroes, so that could work as well depending on the types of heroes that you have on your team. So the Toon and glass versions are what I would recommend for raid tournaments, and then this version for Titans specifically because of that defense down that she gives. And this version that I'm showing you right here is actually my version that I have her at 22 emblems, double limit broken, and she's got 903 attack, which is not great, obviously, but it's not bad for a 3-star hero. And especially if you are a mid-level or lower level player, if you need a good hero to help increase your Titan scores, Brienne could definitely be a good hero for you to level up. Coming in at number 10, and I may as well just start the controversy now. I know there are a lot of Shrew Bear lovers in the game. I am not one of those people. Whenever I have gone up against Shrew Bear in a raid tournament, even in a rush raid tournament, I have never found Shrew Bear to be an issue. I simply either just bring a Dispeller, a Sniper or two. I do think that he's good, probably a little bit better for offense than for defense in my personal opinion, because again, I don't find him particularly difficult to beat, but he is part of the Wonderland family. He is slow mana speed, his class is Monk, his ether power is Taunt, and then his uses would be specifically in raid tournaments. He's slow mana speed, and for his special, the caster gets Taunt that prevents enemies from using special skills on caster's allies for 4 turns. The caster gets plus 63% defense for 4 turns, and the caster gets plus 74% defense against special skills for 4 turns. So I do like the fact that he gets both the defense against regular attacks and the higher defense up against special skills. But once the taunt goes away, he is extremely easy to kill in my opinion. And even when he does have the taunt, especially if he's at like the tank position, then he's going to be pretty easy just to take down with tiles. You could just tile dump up against him and not really have to worry. I would say more commonly I see him on like the right wing, but even then, again, you could just really just avoid matching tiles on that side, let that auto taunt from his ether power wear off, and then just hit him with a couple specials. So again, I know a lot of people like Shrew Bear, and again, he's probably more useful for offense because you can help control that taunt and when you use it. Coming in at number 9, we've got our first Toon here. I've got Toon Burden. He is, of course, part of the classic family. He is fast mana speed. His class is Ranger. His ether power is attack up. And where he would be useful is specifically in raid tournaments. He is definitely the most powerful nature 3-star sniper in the game. His attack stat, as you can see, is over 1,000, and you could probably get it even a little bit higher because I've mentioned it before, but these max preview stats that I'm going to be showing you are as if you were to have followed the talent path all the way to the left. That is going to include the attack masterclass emblems, but it could also have missed some of the other attack nodes in the top part of the talent path, so you could probably get that a little bit higher. And for his special, he is going to deal 330% damage to the target. The target gets minus 24% attack for 6 turns, and then deals extra damage against ice. If you hit an ice character with Burden special, he is going to deal about 1,000 damage, which is a lot against a 3-star hero. He's a very strong attacker, a great sniper, fast mana speed, definitely worth leveling up if you got him. Moving on to number 8, I've got Zarell. She is part of the Bard family. Her mana speed is slow, her class is Paladin, her ether power is regen, and where she would be useful is specifically in raid tournaments. I would say she's going to be most useful in rush raid tournaments because of the fact that she's slow mana speed, but also because of the fact that she is a Bard, and I think that she's actually the only 3-star Bard in the game. And if you're not aware, Bards make it so that solo family members get a 5% mana increase. Now, let's think about rush raid tournaments. You get your special in 7 tiles, or technically 6.5 tiles. The minimum mana increase that you need to get your heroes down to 6 tiles is 9%. In 3-star rush raid tournaments, you don't have troops where you can increase your mana. So the only ways that you can increase your mana outside of using specials is going to be in costume bonuses, which for season 1 heroes is 5%. In most other families, it's only a 1% mana increase. And then in the talent nodes, monks, sorcerers, and druids get 4% mana from their talent node. All of the other 7 classes only get 2% mana. So you could theoretically have 4 other heroes besides Zarell. Zarell's not going to be able to get to 6 tiles, unfortunately, but you could theoretically have 4 other heroes in a rushed 3-star raid tournament that can get down to 6 tiles. You could use one season 1 hero. Again, you can only use one season 1 hero because the way the Bard family bonus works is only solo family members. So you can't have any other family members of that family or else they don't get that 5% mana increase. So you could use one season 1 family member, and then your other 3 heroes could be druids, monks, or sorcerers, or you could just use 4 druids, monks, or sorcerers. Again, those 4 heroes would have to be of different families though. And then for Zarell's actual special, she's going to deal 260% damage to all enemies. All enemies get minus 34% attack for 5 turns, and all enemies can't get their status ailments cleansed from special skills for 5 turns. She does also have another pretty cool passive, which is defense ailment reduction. She automatically reduces the effect of defense ailments by 80%. This effect applies to this character and its allies in the battle. Obviously, that's only going to apply while she's alive in the battle, so if she does die, then that goes away. But overall, I do think that she's a pretty useful hero, especially in a rush raid tournament. She does a decent amount of damage to all enemies, gives them all minus the 34% attack for 5 turns. That 5% mana increase is definitely useful. Pretty solid hero. Moving on to number 7, and this is somebody that I wanted to have higher. I just felt like there were other heroes who had more use in different parts of the game, but I've got Beith at number 7, Toon Beith to be exact. She is, of course, part of the classic family. Her mana speed is average. Her class is Druid. Her ether power is defense up, and where she would be useful is in raid tournaments. She's a pretty solid healer. She's going to recover 35% health for all allies. All allies get plus 34% defense for 3 turns. For all nature characters, this status effect becomes undispellable and lasts 2 turns longer. She's also going to dispel buffs from all enemies. In a raid tournament, having her on defense can definitely be pretty annoying because of those thorn minions constantly healing, having the defense up, which is undispellable. Definitely a pretty solid hero, and you can definitely make good use of her on offense as well. I do also like the fact that in a rush raid tournament, she's going to get her special in 6 tiles no matter what because of that 5% costume bonus and the druid class. So you don't even need Zarell and that extra mana increase from her to get Beith down to 6 tiles. Solid hero and definitely one of the best 3-star healers in the game in my opinion. Coming in at number 6, I've got Fiana. She is from the Plains Hunter family. Her mana speed is average, her class is ranger, and her ether power is fiend resist. Where she would be useful is in events and in raid tournaments. And I mentioned this in previous videos, but events, when I say that, I mean alliance quests, challenge events, and different types of events like that, where you need specific rare heroes or where you can only use rare heroes in a certain portion of that event or alliance quest. Heroes that are useful for events are typically heroes that are attack 3 hitters or who increase attack or give defense down or elemental defense down or anything like that. For Fiana's special, she's going to deal 225% damage to the target and nearby enemies. She is also going to summon a Bone Trap Fiend for the target and nearby enemies. The Fiend damages the enemy with 45% attack each turn. The damage increases by 8% each turn up to a maximum of 93%. The Bone Trap Fiend absorbs healing and disappears when it has absorbed health equal to 35% of its owner's max health. So she's going to be useful for raid tournaments because of all of that special, especially the fiends. Being able to block healing is definitely going to be useful. Decent damage at 225% to 3 targets. And then for events, it's really the fact that she's a hit 3 attacker with that 225% damage to 3 enemies. I do think that there are some heroes that are better for events for the nature category, which is why I have her ranked at number 6, but she is still a solid hero to have on your 3-star nature event team. Coming in at number 5, I've got Allesia. She is part of the Carnival of Gods. Her mana speed is fast. Her class is rogue. Her ether power is attack up, and where she would be useful is also in events and raid tournaments. For her special, she is going to deal 250% damage to the target and nearby enemies. She is going to reduce max health of the target and nearby enemies by 204 over 3 turns. This effect is stronger against targets with boosted health. Max health cannot get lower than 30% of the owner's max health. Any boosted health is reduced by an additional 68 per turn. She can definitely be pretty annoying in raid tournaments because of the fact that she's fast mana speed and reduces the max health of 3 enemies. Pretty decent damage attacker at the 250% damage to 3, which makes her also useful for the raid tournaments for that, but also for events. And I've got her ranked higher than Fiana because of the fact that her special skill damage is higher and she has a better ether power in my opinion. I do not like the fact that Fiana has the fiend resist ether power. There are not a lot of 3-star heroes that give fiends, so I feel like that's a little bit too niche for me. I like the attack up ether power, especially when the fact that you think about events and challenge events, that attack up ether power recharges or restarts at the beginning of each phase. So at the first phase, it's going to activate. At the second phase, it's going to activate. And then again at the 3rd boss stage. She's also fast mana speed, so that's another reason why I've got her higher than Fiana. Coming in at number 4, I think that this one is going to surprise a lot of people, but I stand by the fact that I've got Toon Ishtac at number 4. If you were to ask me this maybe 3 months ago, I would have been like, you are crazy. Ishtac is trash. One of the worst season 1 3-stars in the game. But one of the things that I have tried myself to do, I started about 3 or 4 months ago, is I made a commitment to get better at challenge events and alliance quests. I've done a lot of research. I've watched a lot of videos, watched a lot of gameplay of other people. And one of the things that I found consistent that everybody did is that they had a ton of season 1 heroes because of the fact that they have stronger stats, especially for the 3-star and 4-star heroes, but also because of the fact that their specials are lightning fast. So when you think about alliance quests and challenge events, one of the big determining factors about getting higher scores is how quickly you can finish those phases. And when you've got hit 3 high attacking hitters, it's going to make those battles go that much quicker, especially when you combine the fact that Ishtac has the special boost ether power, which is very important again to getting higher special skill damage. I just realized that I haven't gone over any of his actual characteristics. I've just been talking about how I love Ishtac. Well, he is part of the classic family, of course. His mana speed is average, class is ranger, ether power is special boost, and where he is useful is in in events and in raid tournaments. For his actual special, he deals 290% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies, deals extra damage against ice. But I am telling you, since I changed to pretty much just using Season 1 heroes for 3-star and 4-star events, it has been much easier to get better scores and to be able to finish those battles that much quicker. And Ishtac is definitely a very important key factor if you need a green team to go up against blue heroes. Solid hero, definitely recommend leveling him up if you are looking to get better at challenge events and alliance quests. Moving on to number 3, I've got William from the Garrison Guard family. His mana speed is average, his class is fighter, his ether power is defense up, and where he would be useful is also in events and raid tournaments. For his special, he is going to deal 210% damage to the target and nearby enemies. The caster and nearby allies get plus 36% defense for 3 turns. The caster and nearby allies get plus 36% critical chance for 3 turns. Also worth noting that because he's part of the Garrison Guard family, he does get at the start of each battle a Recruit Guard Mega Minion with 20% health and 100% attack inherited from the caster. It does increase if you have 2 or 3 unique Garrison Guard family members, but because there's only one 3-star Garrison Guard family member, you're only going to get that 20% health and 100% attack, but that's going to be an extra attack that you get after each set of tiles that you match in those challenge events and alliance quests, and it's also going to be extremely useful in raid tournaments. You do want to make sure that you have him positioned at either the flank or tank position if you're on offense, and then I would say if you are going to put him on defense, you definitely want to have him at the flank position. I wouldn't necessarily put him in the tank position. He's not a very tanky hero, so to speak, but definitely like William for raid tournaments, and then also for challenge events, again, because of the fact that he is a hit 3 attacker and that he also gets that extra attack after every set of tiles that you match when you are using him in challenge events or alliance quests. Moving on to number 2, we've got one of my favorite 3-star event heroes, and that's Zerola. She is part of the Cupido family. Her mana speed is fast, her class is ranger, and her ether power is special boost. Where she is useful is in, again, events and raid tournaments. She is going to deal 200% damage to the target and nearby enemies. The less mana the enemies have, the more damage they will receive, up to 300%. So if you think about how you are going to get high scores in challenge events and alliance quests, it's timing your specials to use in that last boss battle, which means nobody's going to have any mana, which means everybody's going to get that 300% damage. Combine that with the fact that she has the special boost ether power, she does a lot of damage. She's also part of the Cupido family, so if you're using her in a raid tournament, she's also going to give all solo heroes a plus 20% increase for any healing received. Similar to Zarell's effect, solo team members basically just mean that you cannot have any other family members of whoever that other family member is. So you can only use one classic Season 1 hero. You can only use one hero of each other family that you use on that same team, which is really just a big deal for the Season 1 tunes and classic heroes. But she is a solid hero, does a lot of damage with that special. And coming in at number 1, we've got probably the best 3-star healer in the game, honestly. We've got Fias. He is from the Sun family, which is part of Season 5. He is slow mana speed. His class is fighter, his ether power is special armor, and where he is useful is in raid tournaments. Obviously, ideally in rush raid tournament, but honestly, I would say that Fias is useful in any raid tournament type except in bloody battle. This is his costume version, which is the fighter class. He does also have his original version, which is the cleric class, which is slightly different, and I kind of toss up between which one would be more useful, cleric or fighter, and it really depends on who you're going up against if you are using him on offense. And personally, I just felt like the fighter version was a slightly better class for the 3-star heroes, because the cleric class, while it is extremely useful for 5-star heroes, and especially having them on a defense to be able to get that master class cleric shield or whatever it's called, mana shield. It is extremely useful to have that on a defense and also on offense, but I feel like there's less heroes that would have a positive effect against in the 3-star heroes, and I felt like the fighter class was going to be slightly more annoying to go up against if you are going up against Fias that's on a defense, or if you're using him on offense. But for his special, he boosts health of all allies by 300. Boosted health can exceed max HP. All allies are immune to new status ailments for 4 turns. All allies get plus 40% defense for 4 turns. So with his original cleric version, the only difference is that his first part boosts health by 350, and then the last part is all allies get plus 30% defense for 4 turns. So personally, I like this fighter class version better. It is also worth noting that when you get his costume, you get the extra passive, which is guaranteed effect on special skill. If you don't have his costume, his passive is 70% chance to perform the following action when this character casts their special skill: boost health of all allies by 10%, boosted health can exceed max HP, and cleanses the latest cleansable status ailment from all allies. So if you don't have his costume, you only have a 70% chance for that to happen. But if you've got his costume, then you have a 100% chance for that to happen. So he's going to boost health of all allies by 300 automatically with his fighter version. And then with his costume bonus and that passive, he's also going to boost everybody's health by an additional 10%, which should be somewhere around 150 or so, depending on the health of your heroes. So those are the heroes that I believe to be the top 10 3-star nature heroes in the game right now. There were definitely a lot of heroes that I felt like were on the cusp that definitely easily could have made it into the top 10. Some heroes that were on the bubble for me were Chires, Yona, and Dolgun. I think that those 3 heroes definitely have a lot of use, and I really wanted to have Chires on this top 10 list. I just didn't feel like that 50 attack and 50 defense growth for only 3 allies was enough to get her on here. And yes, I know that we're talking about 3-star heroes where their base level attack and defense is much lower, but I felt like you would have had to at least gotten her off like 2 or 3 times for her to really make an impact. And by then, I feel like the battle sometimes is kind of already decided. Let me know who your favorite 3-star nature heroes are, and if you feel like I left anybody off this list, definitely let me know. But that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it or found it helpful. And if you did, hit that like button. Make sure you're subbed to my channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.